this report from DK Pittsburgh Sports about how the Pittsburgh Steelers are quote unquote done with Russell Wilson, like at all, or they don't want him, quote, like at all. I love it. DK goes on to talk about how Russ and the reports of Russ and Arthur Smith having a rift, and that caused tension, and near the end of the season, that was the issue, aren't coming from the right side. He says, quote, what actually occurred with Wilson, according to those same people inside the team, is that as of all the naked eyes could plainly tell us, he wasn't following the play calls. He was holding the ball way too long. And within the latter, he no longer could escape defenders in the backfield. DK, claims that Russ's agency, Russ's PR team, those people within Russ's team were the reason that those initial reports came out and made it look as if, well, Arthur Smith was the problem because Arthur Smith stopped giving Russ the ability to change plays. And we even called out Arthur Smith on that situation and said, well, why did it stink? Why did you take away Russ's ability to change plays at the line of scrimmage and your offense went significantly backwards? Why was that the case? He says that that's not totally accurate and that Russ is out here doing that. So we could talk, and I'm going to ask you how you feel about the Russ situation. But at the same time, I think at some point you have to ask the question and acknowledge that this is three within 2.5, 3 weeks of Russell Wilson saying things or reports coming out that you clearly see what side of the table it's coming from, where it's just making it look totally different than what the situation actually is. You have Russ saying that him and the Steelers have started talking about a contract, which I don't think anybody sat there and truly believed. And I'm not calling Russ a liar. I'm just saying that this is how it appears. You have the Schefter report saying that the Steelers expressed interest, only for Jay Glazer and us to say that that was not the case. And now you have, well, Arthur Smith took away Russ's ability. That's why the offense sucked. Nah, Russ's team is the one that said that. It happened, but that clearly wasn't the issue. I mean, I think it's wild, concerning, brings up a lot of the Denver stuff, a lot of the Seattle stuff of, I defended Russ when he came here because I was told from people in Denver, Russ is a good dude. Now I'm starting to question, did Russ's team plant that? Was I fooled by the same trickery that everybody else is in this situation? I have no idea, but wow, I cannot believe that we're here. And it's almost like a story that doesn't actually exist, and one that I would never imagine could happen with Russ, but feels like it may be happening. You got thoughts on a wild 3.5 weeks of Russ creating a narrative that may be opposite of what the actual narrative is?
It's a complete 180 from last year in my eyes. Whenever all that stuff with the Broncos went down and they were getting ready to cut him, Russ was saying all the right things, staying quiet when he needed to stay quiet, and there was nothing else coming out. And I think that's why a lot of people, when the Steelers went after him, were like, all right, yeah, maybe all that extracurricular stuff, the high knees on the plane, everything like that, having his own office or demanding his own office, whatever the stories were out of Denver. I think when Russ, at the end of that, handled that situation of being benched, of being sat and being told after having a good, successful run, hey, we're going to sit you down, and the second you lose, you're out. The way he handled that made people in Pittsburgh feel like, okay, maybe this guy is just built by the narrative. At least the negatives of this guy is built by the narrative, but this is a 180. This is every single week, maybe even every other day. There's a different story coming out telling a different side of the same situation. Again, it's noisy. And last year, did this organization not trade away Deontay Johnson because he was noisy? It's not going to be any different for the quarterback, especially a quarterback that lost 5 consecutive games and is 36 years old. So I don't think any of this is helping Russ. Is some of it damage control, maybe to boost his stock around the other NFL franchises? Maybe, but this just reads as very, very, very off kilter. I mean, even Jay Glazer said he felt like at some point it was more so Russ saying, hey, I'm feeling it. It's time to let Russ cook. And the Steelers were saying, no, don't cook. Don't change anything. Stay within the structure. That's what got you to 6-1. Again, it's who do you trust? Who do you believe? But it's just too noisy. And you look at Justin Fields, he's backpacking in South America, keeping quiet. Yeah. And Russ is being this noisy. It just lends me to believe that the Steelers at some point are going to say, listen, it's not worth it for a 6-6 quarterback that lost 5 straight and went 3-4 against AFC North opponents.
Super Bowl 59 is right around the corner, and it's the perfect time to get in on the action with my partners at DraftKings Sportsbook. Right now, they're giving all new customers $200 in bonus bets instantly after betting just $5. This is your shot to make every last play a moment to be remembered. Don't wait. Download the DraftKings app now and sign up using our code ALLSteelers. The crown is yours. Stay in on the action and use your $200 in bonus bets on DraftKings same game parlays for a shot at an even bigger payout. Combine multiple bets together from the same game. I do it all the time. Love the thrill of live betting? DraftKings has got you covered. Bet live on in-progress games right as they happen, making watching the game that much more exciting. If sports betting is not yet available in your state, don't worry. You can still join in on all the fun with DraftKings Daily Fantasy and have the shot to win cash prizes. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. New customers use my promo code ALLSteelers and bet just $5 on any wager and get $200 in bonus bets instantly. That's promo code ALLSteelers only at DraftKings Sportsbook. Yeah, look at I agree. I think the Steelers are already there. I think a lot of teams are probably not far behind. But at the same time, Russ, I mean, we've also seen that Russ is really good at creating this narrative and finding these things. And I don't think it'll affect him outside of the Steelers as drastically. But I agree. Like, I look at it and say, how can you bring this? You got rid of the noise. You spent so much time getting rid of the noise. How could you bring back the one guy who Russ's biggest asset was he will be a leader in an offense that needed leadership? That was a massive thing here. He loves the game of football and he's going to do what it takes to win. I agree with all this. He's been here. He's done this. He's a veteran. I agree with all this, but none of that matters if he's causing issues. None of that matters if, he's got some narrative on. And to be honest, like, if you're the Steelers and you are keeping Arthur Smith, which they have said that they are, how do you bring back the guy who has done this? If it's true, how do you bring back the guy that's done this? I don't think you can. I think and that's where, I mean, at the end of the day, if there's one part of all this that I believe, simply because I've been told the same thing and many others have reported the same thing, it's that the Steelers are moved on from Russ, that they are like, we're going to keep talking about Russ because these reports are going to come out, but the expressed interest, the began contracts, the so on, I don't believe that. I believe that the Steelers have moved on from Russell Wilson and that they are looking at Justin. And if, they find themselves in a worst case scenario, they might bring Russ back, but I don't think that that's going to present itself to them because Russ will either be elsewhere or the Steelers will have found a different option. And I just don't see Russ as a guy that returns to the Pittsburgh Steelers in 2025. Good.
Yeah, it feels like that crazy ex that just keeps messaging you and telling you, hey, we hanging out tomorrow? It's like, no, I dumped you 3 months ago. Yeah. Like, stop messaging me.
Dude, it really does. But not even messaging, just saying it's just the ex. Yeah, it's the ex that's going, yeah, like we're on a break. So, no, you're not. What are you talking about? The guy got married last week. What are we doing here? No, it's exactly actually what it is. It's wild. Wild is the word. I don't want to be too harsh because you never know what side of the story is real, but wild is a way to word this one.